Okay, so today we are doing a very short, full body, beginner friendly kettlebell and bodyweight workout. I'm saying kettlebell and bodyweight because the option is there with the first exercise to do that with just bodyweight. And I wanted to make a beginner friendly one because I know that whether or not you're a beginner or you just feel like a beginner because you just, you've had setbacks or whatever, or you're struggling to get back into things, then it can be very easy to feel a bit left on the sidelines whenever a lot of workouts might seem a little bit too challenging for you. And I've been there. I sometimes feel like I'm still there, as in there's a lot of workouts I can't do, or I feel like I can't do. So let's just show that it can be doable for anyone. So there's no jumping in this. There's very straightforward exercises, and I maybe worth giving you just a quick run through of these exercises so you can get the most from them. I seem to have a bit of allergies going on today, so I probably sound a little bit nasally. So very quickly, and this will give other people just a chance to jump on. Before our warm-up, let me go through these exercises. We have basically 3 exercises, although we're going to be doing them in 4 intervals. There's going to be 3 rounds of 4 intervals, meaning the whole workout is going to be 12 minutes. The first thing up front is, while I'm working through these intervals, which are going to be 30-30, you don't have to do the full 30 seconds of effort. And this is my method. This is not necessarily unique to me, but I want to really emphasize this up front. This is the approach I take in the Back to Fitness series that I recently did, because I feel like we think we have to fill the whole time, and if we don't, then it's not as good. But I want you to know that what's the thing you're wanting to do is to find that level which is still challenging to you, but not to the point of you're going to run out of steam and basically want to give up, and that will affect how you're consistent, and it also affects your confidence too. So right out front, there's 3 rounds in total, but I would say even if you make through 1 or 2 rounds, then you're fine. And the point is that you make it doable so that you can stick with it. So anyone else who's more advanced can do the full 3 rounds, can do the full 30 seconds and go from there. But anyone else, you can work for the first 10 seconds and then rest for the remainder of that interval plus the rest. Or you can do 15 or 20 seconds. And if on some of these exercises you might be able to do the full 30, but I just want you to know, I'll try to keep track of the interval times so that I can say, okay, now we're 10 seconds in, now we're 15 seconds in, and give you permission. I give you permission to stop, okay? Because there's no point in keep going if it's gonna be crappy, right? And then you can have longer rest so you're fresher for the next exercise. That's the method. That's the big secret method, right? We do what we can. So step up. This is a great exercise for beginners because we step on steps all the time. It's not a lot of range, so it's not like a squat where you have to sit back and you have to figure stuff out in terms of depth and keeping your feet all the width and chest up and everything. But there's just a couple of simple things that you just keep aware of when you're doing your step up. So if we're doing all right side, then all left side, that will mean I'll do left side first because it's facing you. So if I'm going up on my left side, I'm going to step up on my left foot, obviously, but I'm not going to stay back here with my body. I'm going to shift my torso forward a little bit so that the most of my weight is going through this front leg, and I'm going to then push down and pull myself up to standing. Now, I'm going to keep most of my weight shifted onto this foot, so I'm not going to lean into the other side. I'm going to keep my weight shifted so that I can maintain my balance, shift my torso over that foot again as I control the descent down. Now, the height of the step will matter. You can have a half height here, a normal step height, and that's fine, especially if you want to get used to this shifting thing, right? Because if you struggle with single leg exercises with balance, then it's probably to do with how you're shifting your weight over your working side and your working foot. So let's try to think about that. And no, this step isn't that high. It's high for some people. It's kind of like an in between, because my knee and my hip are around the same height. If my knee is lower than my hip, it's going to be a little bit easier. If my knee is higher than my hip, which is going to be on that, then that's going to be much harder. Obviously, you're increasing the range of movement, but the idea is going to be the same. You want to be more controlled. You want to shift your weight over that foot and drive with that working side. So all that means is every time stepping up and all the way down and up. Now you don't have to bring your foot all the way down to the floor each time. You can just step up like this, if this is easier for you, or you can just go down each time to get into a bit of a rhythm. But always stepping up with that side, the same side, and keeping that side on the bench as you step down with the other foot. So I know this is like, it's just a step up, but it's important, I think, because if you can get this, then lunges and any sort of single leg and even squats come much easier, because you get used to that working side. That's where the weight needs to go. Because if I do this, on the other hand, stepping up, and then I go way back, all the weight is now in my rear foot, and now I've shifted, and now I have to somehow, either I'm going to push off with my other foot because I'm far back, or I'm then just going to shift from here to here and then overbalance on that ascent up onto the step. So please keep that in mind as you're doing this. That's why I love step up for a beginner, and we can work at different heights then before even adding any weight. So that's the first two intervals are that, so one side then the other. And like I say, because there's so much time for one side, you can stop at 10, 15, 20, 25 at any point along the way, and then just rest. So other side then is next. So the next exercise is the two-handed press. And this is a nice one for an overhead position, especially if you struggle with a single side with stability, then this is for you. Okay, this is really beginner friendly press. You're going to hold your kettlebell by the horns, and you're going to keep your elbows into you, and all you're going to do, as if you were doing any other press, is just press up overhead and lock out the elbows and then bring it back down again. Okay, nice and controlled. You're starting around sternum height and then just pressing up, lowering under control, like that. So you can decide what weight you want to go with and go from there. Anyone else who, if you want to press more and you want to press on one side at a time, then here's another option for you. Either you can do a double press or double push press. You're racking two kettlebells of the same weight, or if you don't have two the same weight, you can do an alternating clean and press. And that will be, I'll show you that. So instead of the two-handed press, do an alternating clean and press. So you're going to do a clean, press, and then back into your clean, swap hands, rack a kettlebell, and press on the other side. And you do that for the interval. You're still going to get a decent number of presses in, plus you're getting to practice your clean as well. That's that two-handed press. And it's a very, very easy one for anyone to do, and it also means you're getting your vertical pressing in and not worrying so much about stability. Okay, so two-handed swing. You might think, oh, beginner, I'm not confident with the swing. But here's a way I usually teach it for a beginner. A lot of times, and I'm going to try not to get on my soapbox, a lot of times in the kettlebell world, it's black and white, it's purist, elitist maybe on some scale, but I want you to know that any way you can do the swing is the way to do it, okay? They often, most times, you want to start from the ground and you want to then hike the kettlebell up and then start into your swings. But what I find is this initial rep, you're generally lower and it's more like a deadlift starting position. It's not really a hinge. So what I want to encourage is the hinge of the swing. And so I work from the top down. So the hip hinge is where the hips are going back and forward. But people often say that's like the Romanian deadlift, and so we have people do Romanian deadlifts to practice the hinge, which is always, you start with the weight at the top, then you send the hips back, drawing the kettlebell down between the feet, and then back forward with the hips. But if you're doing this, that's not a Romanian deadlift, that's a deadlift from the floor up. So I want to teach the kettlebell swing with the kettlebell at the top. So you start with your kettlebell, and all you do, you're at the top here, you're getting a wide stance with shoulder width apart, and you're going to use your hips initially just to give it a little bump, and then you're going to let your hips go back and forward. My arms are by my sides, they're still kind of stuck, but as I get built up momentum with my hip snap, my arms separate from my body, and it might take a few weeks for you to feel as confident. I get my feet nicely grounded so that the kettlebell doesn't push me back. I'm not going to overbalance like this. So I gradually just build up, keeping my torso nice and straight, only using my hips, letting my arms push me back, snapping forward, and over time, I begin to express more power through my hips, and I let that proper swing happen. But then you already have an adequate, you've ingrained that hip hinge, you've ingrained that swing part, and then it's easy to add this first bit. It's easy to do this. Hike it high, and then you're into your normal swing again. Just doing this, right? Don't worry about starting it from the floor. When you hear here, we're doing the two-handed swing, get the kettlebell into the top part, and then begin. I also find this works way better for people who are maybe larger individuals, and it's a struggle at times to get into this position to start with. So it's much more practical, but it means that it's not out of bounds for you. Just because you can't do that first rep off the ground, like, no, I don't. I'm all about trying to make things much more accessible for everyone. So hopefully that will help you get your swinging and go from there. So luckily this is a very short workout, 12 minutes. Of course it might feel very long if you're being out of the way of it. Put that fan on because it's humid. We'll start into a very quick warm-up, and with beginners in mind, I'm going to start, you can do bodyweight squats, and you can also do bodyweight box squats. So if you have a chair handy, you can sit back onto the chair, or even if you've got the arm of a sofa. I've done box squats onto the arm of the sofa. It's just to give me a higher depth to go into. Alright, so we're going to do 10 reps, and then we'll do a couple more things that I'm trying to keep in mind. If you're a beginner, there's certain things you might not be able to do. But the main thing is that even if you don't necessarily do all of the warm-up, as you're getting into the workout, you're just kind of taking your time through that first round, and you could use that as a more specific warm-up. So you're practicing the exercises, and that can be your warm-up. Okay, so at this start with some bodyweight squats. It could be bodyweight box squats, and we'll do 10 reps. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So if you are able, now you're going to take a wide stance. For people who have maybe more flexibility, you might be able to get all the way down to the ground, tap and come back up. For wherever you're at, just do a slight bend down and up. Let your whole body relax, be a rag doll. Let your back, let your head fall forward. Don't be stiff, just let yourself flop, basically. And we're going to do 10 of these. Just the main point is that you feel a stretch at the back of your legs. So keep your legs on the straighter side, but everything else is going to flop forward. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So just bend down as much as you can and roll yourself back up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, let's do the quads, fronts of the legs. So we've done a little bit of a movement there, we're warming up the knees. Now let's stretch a little bit into the hamstrings and quads by dynamic stretch, which means we're not holding it, we're not sitting around holding it. We're just going to stretch, let go, and stretch the other side. So if you want to hold on to something, if you need to, you can do stretch and then stretch like so. Or if you have some space, you can take a step, reach, step, pull your quad. As you pull your foot up, you bring your knee in. So keep it all in line with the hip. You want to feel it more across the quad. We do 10 of these, and if you want to hold on to one side and do like 1, 2, 3 on one side, you'll go ahead and do around 6 to 8 each side. And 3, 2, 1, off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Good job. If you have a very light weight, and I mean it can be like teeny tiny weight, it doesn't have to be heavy. I'm going to rotate this around the head. It's called the Kettlebell Halo. I use it as a warm up for the shoulders, and it just gets a lot of the shoulders. It can be a bottle of water, anything like a can or anything. It could be a light kettlebell. It can be a decently heavy kettlebell if that's where you're at. Okay. Main thing is the movement. So we're going to go 8 rotations clockwise and then anti-clockwise for 8. In 3, 2, 1. We're going to start around the top of that, around the eyes, pass it around, and come back to the start. That's 1 rotation. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Other direction then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And rest there. Okay. So now we're going to go down onto the ground and we're going to do some glute bridges and another shoulder exercise, and then that will be us. Okay, so down onto the ground, lie flat on your back if you can, and we're going to do just a regular glute bridge. Okay, so feet close enough to the butt, not right up, but not too far away, kind of under the knee, and we're just going to push up with the hips and not arch to the back, just let the hips go up as high as they can go. Squeeze the glutes. We're going to do 15 of these. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. If you need to stop before 15, that's fine. If you feel this in your hamstrings and they're cramping up, then you can stop. I think that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now, while we're here, so that we're not going up and down on the ground, let's do what's called no monies. They're lying down, so they're going to be easier than they would be against the wall. We're going to bring our elbows into our sides, our forearms at 90 degrees to the floor, palms facing up towards our chin, thumbs facing out to the side, so pointing away from the body. And all you're going to do is let your arms fall down toward the floor, so your thumbs end up on the floor, and then bring them back up. Just let them fall, and this is just letting your shoulders externally rotate and kind of open up around the chest a little bit. We're doing about 10 of these, and 1, 2, and yes, it's super easy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and And we are done. So now you can get slowly back up to your feet and grab a drink before we start. And then we'll begin into our 12 minutes. So I'm doing the 12 in a row, like the 3 rounds in a row. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know there's going to be people here who are not beginners. And so this means that you can keep the video rolling, but if you're like at the end of round 1 or even round 2 and you want to have a longer break, then just come and pause the video and then continue when you're ready. If you're only beginning back into exercise, or you're only getting into it for the first time, then consider just 1 round this week and gradually build up over the next few weeks. Okay, everyone? So the first beep that you hear will be actually a rest period. The second beep will be when we actually start, but it gives us time to set up. Okay, so we're going to be doing step-ups. I'm going to do them on this for now. I might go higher, but I'll keep you, on point with the times so that you can stop when you want. Okay, 10 seconds. Getting ready. 5. Put your right foot up. 2, 1, and shift forward and up, and then back down again. Remembering really just to focus on that working side. Keeping that weight over that foot. 10 seconds are gone. Halfway. 10 seconds left. Last 3. And now we rest. So even if I would expect most people to manage the first round for like maybe almost the full 30 seconds. For the step up anyway. Okay, so 15 seconds left before our break. It gets harder. the fatigue accumulates. 5 seconds. So getting set up for this next one. Foot up, 2, 1, and off we go. Other side. Go. Get into your rhythm. Shift your weight over that working side. Keep that weight over your working side, meaning shift that torso. Coming up on 15 seconds left. Forgot about the 21. 10 seconds left. Go at your own tempo. 5. The main thing is that you feel balanced. Doesn't matter how fast you're going, it's just that you feel that you're getting good balance. Okay, so our next exercise is our 2-handed press. For anyone who's a beginner, 2-handed press is a good one. Anybody else? And okay, 5 seconds. Get your kettlebell into position. In 2, 1. You can do 2-handed press. You can do double presses. We've got 2 light kettlebells. Or, for more advanced, you can do alternating clean and press. Or double clean and press. Okay, 15 seconds. It's hard to see the time now with this. Okay, we're coming up on our last 5 seconds. And rest there. It was hard to see when the time was on that one. That one you might stop early. And that's fine. Just rest for the rest. Rest for the rest. 15 seconds. Now we're going into the swing. For anyone who's used to these, start from the ground and hike back. For beginners, start at the top. I'm going to do the top. 5 seconds. Kettlebell at the top. Getting ready to give it a little bump with the hips. And off you go. Bump. And let yourself gradually build up your hinge. And let the arms start separating from your body at the top. But then let them push you right back. So wait for the arms to push you back. And then let them separate. gradually build up that hinge and the hip snap. And I've talked through the time with 10 seconds left. Snap those hips with the glutes. 3 seconds. And rest. Okay, everyone. Now, anyone needs to stop or pause at this point, go ahead. But if you feel good to go, we're going back into step ups. The heart rate might be high from the swings, so just bear that in mind. It's not long to rest, about 10 seconds. Going back into our step ups, back to your original side. 3, and off we go. Shift your weight, push it down. Keep that foot on that's on the bench, the one that's leading, totally grounded, meaning keep your big toe down. 15 seconds to go. 10 seconds. Last 3. And rest. So maybe this round you'll have to stop a little bit early and then rest for the remainder of the effort period and the rest period. It's much, much better if you're just getting back in and you're really struggling with the workouts being too hard. Just meeting yourself where you're at. 5 seconds, other side. Off we go. Step up, and remember, it doesn't have to be a high step, especially if you want to work on that balance, single leg balance. 15 seconds. 10. And last 5. 2, 1, and rest. Going back into our 200 press. And then I'll try to keep an eye on this one. This is the one that I think you might need to stop early. This and maybe the swing. 10 seconds. Just wait till the last few seconds before you pick it up. Keep the shoulders fresh. Okay, 3 seconds. Pick the weight up. And press. Bring it right down. Keep those elbows tucked in as much as you can underneath the kettlebell, like this. So they're not way out here. Keep them in. We have 15 to go. 10 seconds left. Nearly there. Last 3. And rest. You know, as you progress to single-sided, you're going to have to keep that elbow under the wrist anyway. So get used to that idea of tucking the elbows in. 15 seconds. And then we're back into our swing. 8 seconds. Might be alright with this. 20 seconds or so. Just go with what you can. 3, 2, 1. Pick the kettlebell up. A bit late, but bump the kettlebell. Slowly bring it up into more of a swing. Let the hips do the work. This helps you focus on the hips, right? Try not to worry about how high your kettlebell is going at this point. Just get used to hitting it with the hips. 15 seconds left. And 10 left. 2, 1, and rest. So if you need to pause the video now, I think you can when it's live. I keep saying I think you can. I still haven't tested that. Somebody can let me know if you can do that. I think you can. Alright, so back into our final round. If you're like really beginner, you can stop now. 2 rounds is plenty. I promise you. 5 seconds. And off we go. So even though we have 12 minutes and we're doing 4 intervals per round, this is technically a wee 3. 15, because we're doing 3 exercises for this. 10 seconds left. Last 5. Stop whenever you need to. And rest. It's the sort of thing where you have to like let go of having to do all of what's in front of you. Like, just because it's 30 seconds doesn't mean you have to do it. The 30, it's just arbitrary. Like, why 30? Well, just because it's 30, it's what people do. 5 seconds, the other side. And off we go, other side. So much of what we do, or what we think we have to do, is arbitrary. Last 15, we're halfway through this one. And now 10 seconds. Keeping that working side, last 5. And rest. Okay, 2-handed press. I'm always concerned with, can you do it and will you do it? Those are important. 10 seconds. So can you do the step up? Can you do 15, 20 seconds? Will you do it consistently? Off we go. Pressing. "15 seconds. So again, elbows in, pushing up overhead. It's not perfect because your hands are together. 5 seconds, more together for the press. And we can rest now. So our final exercise and our final interval is our 2-handed swing, starting either from the ground, or if you're just new to these, or you're getting into your groove again, try from the top. 10 seconds. Getting ready. Put your kettlebell up. 3 seconds. And bump with the hips. Bump. Hinge a little bit. Send those hips back. Send them forward. Snapping the kettlebell forward. Snap just with the hips. Build up. A little bit of power so that your arms separate from the body. And then just wait for them. Push you back. Snap. Push you back. 10 seconds left. Last 5. And rest. And we're done. Grab a drink. Just let the heart rate come back down. And we'll start our cool down in just a second. So, just want to check comment here. See, Jay's on this morning. He says, "Thank you for another excellent workout." You're welcome. I appreciate all of your continued options to keep things buried during these difficult times. So, or varied, maybe? I don't know. Buried. So I wanted to specifically address the problem of the high bar of entry into the perceived high bar. And it's not really your fault. Like, if you're like, these workouts are just too hard, you're kind of in this situation of, if this is a beginner, like even this beginner workout may be too hard for some people, but that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means that a few things might need to be tweaked for you. Like, it's not your responsibility to fit into the fitness world, it's the responsibility of the fitness workouts to fit you. That's the issue, I see. Okay. It's not black and white either, right? So I'm going to rant about this sort of stuff for a long time. Alia's here. Oh, hi Alia. She caught it all today. Yay! I'm glad you made it. Okay, so let's do a very simple cool down. This is one I've been doing for a while, and I'm not big on cool downs, to be honest. Not big on stretching. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't personally do a lot of it, but some people love stretching. So all this one is a couple of stretches, really, of the quads. If anything I stretch, it's usually the quads or the piriformis. Everything else, not so much. But so we're going to start face down on the floor. This is a nice one because you start out lying down right after a workout. Lie face down. We're going to stretch through the quads lying down. A little bit of back extension, and then we're going to go up into do some yoga stuff. Nothing major because I'm not exactly a yoga person. So lying face down. Reach around for your right foot with your right hand and pull your foot up as much as you can, okay? This might be a difficult position to be in. Just flexible enough to pull around for your foot. And then just the rest of you kind of relax. Everything tries to relax during a cool down. And these stretches, if you do stretches at the end of your workout, you can hold these. These can be longer stretches. Other side. And release. Now, if you can, just go up a little bit, bring your shoulders up onto your forearms, and you're arching through your back, but try to relax as you do it. Like, let your stomach relax, let your shoulders relax, let your jaw relax, let your hands relax. I think when you think about all the things that need, like all these different parts, relax this, relax that, you realize just how much tension you hold. Okay, now we're on our hands and knees in like a tabletop, and I want to basically let the whole back sink down like a cow, and the head and tailbone pointing up, and then do like in a relaxed way, a smooth movement, exhale or inhale, doesn't matter. Let yourself go into the reverse, so head and tailbone pointing down and back, arched up like a cat. And then relax again as you go back to the cow. And back to the cat, and we'll do one more of each. And back to the cat. Now, from here, in this tabletop position, bring your toes together and your knees out wider than your body. And then put your hands out in front and just send yourself back so you can sit somewhere around the heels of the feet, right? You're trying to sit on your feet. And try not to get a cramp in your foot. Okay, so when we're back, you can use the floor to pull and stretch through your lats if you want. I always seem to do that. Another stretch. Then forehead onto the ground and just relax everything. And then just take a few full deep breaths and then exhale slowly, like 3 or 4 deep breaths, just to help you really unwind. One more deep breath. And then slowly we can get back to our standing position. So one of the things that sometimes that came to mind there as I was lying was that sometimes we'll go, we'll go through what we did for our workout, but we'll go through what we didn't do, what we did not do, and almost becomes that the goal is for the showing up and doing something isn't ever really enough, but because we didn't come away feeling that we did what we set out to do somehow, and a lot of times we'll disqualify it. Oh, but I only did 20 seconds instead of 30. Just remember, like, so much of it is about the bigger picture, and today, the outcome of today's workout, like, even if you got a perfect workout today and this was the only workout you ever did, it's not going to do anything, right? It doesn't do anything on its own. So if the perfect workout is pointless basically on its own, but it's the string of workouts that matter, perfect or not, then I'd much rather, if seeking perfection is actually creating a cycle of, but if I can't, then I'll not try, or you're kind of going away kicking yourself because you didn't do that perfect workout. The very imperfect workouts, even if they're like really bad, you feel like, oh, I only did one round, but you still show up and you still do something, and it's like, you do that. The key is to realize that you're still doing something that counts, and because it will eventually pay off and you will be able to get stronger and whatever else. The problem sometimes is our mindset doesn't see that, and it's never enough then. So like I say, one workout doesn't matter in the big picture, so let's try to string more together instead, like just for over the course of like a year, even if it's once a week, but you're still showing up. The problem is not consistency. The problem is our idea that consistency, it has to be a certain frequency that we're aiming for. But one a week is plenty to get our consistency back. 2 a week might be better, but if that derails you every time, is it better? I don't know. So anyway, that's really just my little speech at the end. Hopefully you enjoyed the workout, and especially if you are just starting out, it gives you some sort of reassurance that there's always a way to make it work for you, and that it's not about, it's about what works for you at the end of the day. And if it helped at all, then I'm happy. If you have any questions about any of these exercises or how to make something work better for you, then reach out. I'm around. I'm happy to help. I don't like the thought of anyone feeling like they can't, that they're left out, that they're left behind, or they don't, like, I'm not suited for this or something. Like, it's not you that's ill-equipped, it's the fitness world that's ill-equipped. Okay, so anyway, I shall hopefully be back next week, all being well, same time, same place, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall chat to you soon. And of course, reach out, come and join the group of Fitness After Life Happened on Facebook if you're not already a member. And yeah, if you want to get updates and things, although to be honest, you might be better off on my email list to get more updates there, as I'm in Facebook, but not, Facebook is Facebook. Facebook is this time drain, and I'd much rather feel productive in my day than get stuck on Facebook, so I like to email people and chat that way. So reach out, I'm here, and I'll see you next week.